Hello students, welcome to lesson number 9, Madam Rides the Bus, written by Valli Kannan. Now, in this lesson tells us about a brave 8-year-old girl who had a strong desire and along with it the courage to fulfill her desire. She liked gazing at the hustle and bustle of the street, and her favorite part was the sight of a bus arriving and departing. Thus, she developed a deep desire to travel by bus. For that, she needed all sorts of information about the bus journey, about the bus fare, and she planned it so meticulously that she could be back home before her mother woke up from her afternoon nap. Thus, this story brings us to how innocently but very responsibly this little girl fulfills her deepest desire and her experiences on the bus ride, how an incident made her realize the reality of death. Now let us begin reading. So, there was a girl named Valli Ammai who was called Valli for short. She was 8 years old and was very curious about things. Her favorite pastime was standing in the front doorway of her house, watching what was happening on the street outside. There were no playmates of her own age on her street, and this was about all she had to do. But for Valli, standing at the front door was every bit as enjoyable as any of the elaborate games other children played. Watching the street gave her many new, unusual experiences. Well, curious means very eager to know or learn something. This story is about an 8-year-old girl by the name of Valli Ammai, or preferably Valli. And just like every other child, Valli was very eager to know about new, unknown things, because of which she could spend all day looking at the hustle and bustle of the street. Moreover, she had no friends to play with, so the only option she had was to look outside at what was going on. Now, let us continue reading further. The most fascinating thing of all was the bus that travelled between her village and the nearest town. It passed through her street each hour, one going to the town and one coming back. The sight of the bus filled each time with a new set of passengers was a source of unending joy for Valli. Day after day she watched the bus, and gradually a tiny wish crept into her head and grew there. She wanted to ride on that bus, even if just once. This wish became stronger and stronger until it was an overwhelming desire. Valli would stare wistfully at the people who got on or off the bus when it stopped at the street corner. And at the street corner, their faces would kindle in her longings, dreams, and hopes. If one of her friends happened to ride the bus and try to describe the sights of the town to her, Valli would be too jealous to listen and would shout in English, "Proud, proud." Neither she nor her friends really understood the meaning of the word, but they used it often as a slang expression of disapproval. Over many days and months, Valli listened carefully to conversations between her neighbors and people who regularly used the bus, and she also asked a few discreet questions here and there. In this way, she picked up various small details about the bus journey. Now, let us continue with the explanation. Even though she couldn't play with friends, she liked to look at the outside affairs. She found that very entertaining. She learned a lot of new things in the process. The best part was the arrival and the departure of the bus that routed from her village to a nearby town. The bus crossed the village street at every hourly intervals, once while going to the town and the other while coming back. Just looking at the bus filled with a new set of passengers every time it crossed the street gave her lasting excitement and joy. Now, the meaning of the word wistfully means longingly, and kindle means to set alight. Over here, it means set alight one's feelings. Now, After continuously watching the bus arrive and depart for a couple of days, even though she wished to take a ride on it just once, soon the wish grew stronger and became a desire. That meant that now there was more longing in her to travel in the bus. She would be fascinated by looking at people's faces, and she would step out of the bus. Her desire grew to such an extent to travel by that bus that, if any of her friends ever told her that they had gone by bus and they would tell about their experiences, she wouldn't listen to them. She was too jealous and she would only exclaim, "Proud, proud." Neither she nor her friends knew the actual meaning of the word, but they used it in order to express disapproval. So, let us continue reading further. The fair was the town was 6 miles from her village. The fare was 30 paise one way, which is almost nothing at all, she heard one well-dressed man say. But to Valli, who scarcely saw that much money from one month to the next, it seemed like a fortune. The trip to the town took 45 minutes. On reaching the town, if she stayed in her seat and paid another 30 paise, she could return home on the same bus. This meant that she could take the 1 o'clock afternoon bus, reach the town at 1:45 and be back home at about 2:45. On and on went her thoughts as she calculated and recalculated, planned and replanned. Okay, children, now discrete questions means very careful questions. In order to fulfill her desire of traveling by bus alone, she needed to be prepared with all sorts of information. Therefore, she started paying a lot of attention to conversations between her neighbors who were used to traveling by bus, and in that process, she asked a few more careful questions to gain further information. In this way, she prepared a plan and knew that the town was 6 miles from her village. One side fare was 30 paise, which was nothing according to a well-dressed man. But Valli thought that it was quite an amount, and she hardly saw that kind of money every month. But the duration of the trip on one side was 45 minutes, and the bus, upon finishing its trip till town, would bring Valli back if she paid 30 more paise. Thus, if she could get on the bus by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, she could reach there by 1:45, and if she sat in the same bus, then she could come back to the village at 2:45. That was before her mother woke up. In this way, she calculated in order to save that much amount and time to sneak out without anyone noticing. Now, and also after replanning and recalculating, finally came the day when she was about to take that ride. The bus was on its usual route on the main highway. So let's continue reading further. Well, one fine spring day, the afternoon bus was just on the point of leaving the village and turning into the main highway when a small voice was heard shouting, "Stop the bus, stop the bus," and a tiny hand was raised commandingly. The bus slowed down to a crawl, and the conductor, sticking his head out of the door, said, "Hurry then, tell whoever it is to come quickly." "It's me," shouted Valli. "I'm the one who has to get on." But now the bus had come to a stop, and the conductor said, "Oh, really? You don't say so." "Yes, I simply have to go to town," said Valli, still standing outside the bus. "And here's my money." She showed him some coins. Okay, but first you must get on the First you must get on the bus, said the conductor, and he stretched out a hand to help her up. "Never mind," she said, "I can get on by myself. You don't have to help me." The conductor was a jolly sort, fond of joking. "Oh, please don't be angry with me, my fine madam," he said. "Here, have a seat right up there in front. Everybody move aside, please. Make way for madam." It was the slack time of day, and there were only 6 or 7 passengers on the bus. They were all looking at Valli and laughing with the conductor. Valli was overcome with shyness. Avoiding everyone's eyes, she walked quickly to an empty seat and sat down. So, on hearing her voice, the bus slowed down, and on seeing Valli, a small girl, the conductor asked her to tell the person who was supposed to travel by bus to hurry up. When Valli told him that she was the passenger, he was shocked to see such a young girl. Thus he stopped the bus. It was hard for the conductor to believe that she was about to travel alone. Then she handed him a bus fare. The conductor offered to help her climb onto the bus. But responsible and proud as she was, she made her intentions clear that she needed no help. Then, slack time is a time when there is not much work. When Valli refused to take any help, the conductor sarcastically asked her not to be angry with him and that he was just trying to help. In a light tone, he addressed her madam and escorted her to the seat while telling the other passengers to make way for madam. Since it was afternoon, not many people travelled during this time, and so everyone's eyes were on Valli. All of them adored her along with the conductor. While everyone was laughing, it made Valli shy, and thus she hurried to her seat. So now let's continue reading further. Here. May we start now, madam? The conductor asked, smiling. Then he blew his whistle twice and the bus moved forward with a roar. It was a new bus. Its outside was painted a gleaming white with some green stripes along the sides, and inside the overhead bars shone like silver. Directly in front of Valli, above the windshield, there was a beautiful clock. The seats were soft and luxurious. Valli devoured everything with her eyes. But when she started to look outside, she found her view cut off by a canvas blind that covered the lower part of her window. So she stood up on the seat and peered over the blind. So let's continue with the explanation. Now, in a sarcastic tone, the conductor sought the approval of madam before beginning the journey, and then he blew his whistle twice to signal the driver to start the bus. The bus was new, as it was obvious from the overhead silver bars that were shining. There was a clock just in front of Valli, and the seats were extremely comfortable. The outside was painted in glowing white with stripes of green along the sides. Now, the meaning of devoured is read quickly and eagerly, and canvas is a coarse fabric. Blind is a partition. So when she looked inside the bus and turned towards the window to have a view of the outside, but she couldn't have a complete view, for she was too short and the window blinds were obstructing her view. They weren't allowing her to see. So she decided to stand up and be able to look properly. Now let's continue reading further. The bus was now going along the bank of a canal. The road was very narrow. On one side there was the canal, and beyond it palm trees, grassland, distant mountains, and the blue sky. On the other side was a deep ditch, and then acres and acres of green fields. Green as far as the eye could see. Oh, it was all so wonderful. Now, the bus was on a very narrow road. On one side there was a canal, and beyond the trees, distant mountains and a large blue sky could be seen. Whereas on the other hand, there was greenery all around. She was enjoying it a lot, the scenery, watching the scenery, when suddenly someone asked her to sit down. While sitting down, she turned in order to see. She saw an old man showing concern to her. Still, in no mood for anyone's help, it made her very annoyed. So let's continue reading further. Oh! Suddenly, she was startled by a voice. Listen, child, you shouldn't stand there like that. Sit down. Sitting down, she looked to see who had spoken. It was an elderly man who had honestly been concerned for her, but she was annoyed by his attention. There's nobody here who's a child, she said. I've paid my 30 paise like everyone else. The conductor chimed in. Oh, sir, but this is a very grown up madam. Do you think a mere girl could pay her own fare and travel to this city all alone? Pali shot an angry glance at the conductor and said, I am not a madam. Please remember that. And you've not given me my ticket. I remember, the conductor said, mimicking her tone. Everyone laughed, and gradually Valli too joined in the laughter. So, over here, the meaning of the word haughtily means proudly. Valli was too proud to take anyone's help and thus told the man that she was not a child. She said she was just like everyone else traveling in the bus and she could take care of herself. She paid her full fare, just like everyone else. And so the conductor made a remark that she was a grown up madam because the child could never pay for his or her bus ticket. So Valli very annoyingly told the conductor not to call her madam and reminded him that she had not yet received her ticket. The conductor then responded by mimicking, means by speaking in the same tone of voice and thereby making everyone laugh. Valli ended up laughing too. The conductor then just handed her her ticket and asked her, sit back and make yourself comfortable. The conductor punched a ticket and handed it to her. Just sit back and make yourself comfortable. Why should you stand when you've paid for a seat? Because I want to, she answered, standing up again. Standing up again. But if you stand on the seat, you may fall and hurt yourself when a bus makes a sharp turn or hits a bump. And that's why we want you to sit down, child. I am not a child, I tell you, she said irritably. I am 8 years old. Of course, of course. How stupid of me. 8 years, my. The bus stopped, some new passengers got on, and the conductor got busy for a time. Afraid of losing her seat, Valli finally sat down. An elderly woman came and sat beside her. Are you all alone, dear? She asked Valli as the bus started again. Valli found the woman absolutely repulsive. Such big holes she had in her earlobes and such ugly earrings in them. And she could smell the betel nut the woman was chewing and see the betel juice that was threatening to spill over her lips at any moment. Ugh! Who could be sociable with such a person? Okay, children, so we will listen to the explanation. Now, the meaning of the word repulsive is something that causes strong dislike. Now, they further tried to explain to her that they were genuinely concerned about her and that she might hurt herself if she continued to stand in her seat. And then she again made it clear that she was 8 years old and therefore she was not a child. The conductor did not leave this chance to have a good laugh. The bus stopped and more passengers boarded the bus in order to preserve her seat. She quickly sat down when an old woman sat near her. The lady was staring at Valli before asking her if she was all alone, and Valli developed a strong dislike for this old lady whose earlobes had big holes. She did not like her earrings too and looked at how she was chewing betel nut. She was the last person Valli would like to socialize with. Yes, I'm traveling alone, she answered curtly, and I've got a ticket too. Yes, she's on her way to town, said the conductor, with a 30 paise ticket. Oh, why don't you mind your own business, said Valli, but she laughed all the same, and the conductor laughed too. But the old woman went on with her drivel. Is it proper for such a young person to travel alone? Do you know exactly where you're going? To which town? What's the street? What's the house number? You needn't bother about me. I can take care of myself, Valli said, turning her face towards the window and staring out. So, over here, children, we can see that the meaning of the word curtly is rudely, briefly, or abrupt. Though annoyed by the elderly lady, Valli replied to her by saying that yes, she was travelling alone and that too with a ticket of her own. Evidently, the conductor spared no chance to tease Valli and have a good laugh. Now Valli laughed with him while the woman, old lady, continued to interrupt her by asking abrupt questions which were out of concern. She was bothered about Valli's security and that if she could reach her destination safely all alone, Valli assured her that she can travel alone and started looking outside the window to avoid further conversation. Now we go to part 3. Her first journey. What careful, painstaking, elaborate plan she had made for it. She had thriftily saved whatever stray coins came her way, resisting every temptations to buy peppermints, toys, balloons and the like. How difficult it had been, particularly that day at the village fair, but she had resolutely stifled a strong desire to ride the merry-go-round, even though she had the money. After she had enough money saved, her next problem was how to slip out of the house without her mother's knowledge, but she managed this without too much difficulty. Every day after lunch, her mother would nap from 1 to 4. Also, Valli would always use these hours to for her excursions as she stood looking from the doorway of the house. Now let's continue with the explanation. Her first journey. Thriftily means spend money carefully, and resolutely stifled means suppressed, controlled with determination. That means by making up her mind. Undoubtedly, this little girl had put a lot of effort into planning, saving for her first bus journey. It was a dream ride for her. She resisted every temptation, ranging from peppermints, toys, balloons, or a merry-go-round at the park. And after so many efforts, she finally saved 60 paise. Then, the meaning of ventured out is went cautiously or courageously. When the financial, let us continue reading further. Or sometimes even ventured out into the village. Today, these same hours could be used for her first excursion outside the village. The bus rolled on, now cutting across a bare landscape, now rushing through a tiny hamlet or past an odd wayside shop. Sometimes the bus seemed on the point of gobbling up another vehicle that was coming towards them, or a pedestrian crossing the road. But lo, somehow it passed on smoothly, leaving all obstacles safely behind. Trees came running towards them and then stopped as the bus reached there, and simply stood there helpless for a moment by the side of the road before rushing away to the other direction. So children, let's listen to the explanation. When the financial obstacle had been dealt with, the next problem was to be able to sneak out of the house without anyone noticing her. Usually, Valli's mother used to sleep from 1 to 4 every afternoon. Valli used to benefit from this and used to go for excursions in the village for long walks, and this time it could be used as an excursion outside the village. Then, hamlet is a small settlement with few houses, and gobbling it up means to swallow or eat hastily. Now the bus reached an area which did not have trees. It was barren land with a few shrubs. It crossed a small settlement and shops by the road. As the bus went with high speed, Valli thought it would swallow the oncoming vehicles and pedestrians, but it passed very safely across all hurdles. When the bus was moving, it seemed as if the trees were rushing towards the bus, and when it stopped, it seemed as though the bus had reached them. But as the bus crossed those people, it appeared that the trees were running away from the bus. Let's continue reading further. Suddenly, Valli clapped her hands with glee. A young one, tall, high in the air, A young cow, tall, tail high up in the air, was running very fast right in the middle of the road, right in front of the bus. The bus slowed down to a crawl, and the driver sounded his horn loudly again and again. But the more he honked, the more frightened the animal became, and the faster it galloped, always right in front of the bus. Now, over here, the word glee means happiness and joy. Valli was filled with happiness and joy. On looking, suddenly a cow came running in the middle of the road, right in front of the bus. The bus slowed down to give her way and honked repeatedly. Unfortunately, it became more terrified and ran in front of the bus. As the driver blew more horns, the cow became wild and kept on running faster and faster. So let's continue with the reading. Somehow, this was very funny to Valli. She laughed and laughed until there were tears in her eyes. Hey lady, haven't you laughed enough? Called the conductor. Better save some for tomorrow. At last, the cow moved off the road, and soon the bus came to a railroad crossing. A speck of a train could be seen in the distance, growing bigger and bigger as it drew near. Then it rushed past the crossing gate with a tremendous roar and rattle, shaking the bus. Then the bus went on and passed the train station. From there, it traversed a busy, well laid out shopping street and turning entered a wider thoroughfare. Such big, bright looking shops, what glittering displays of clothes and other merchandise. Such big crowds. So here, children, we can see thoroughfare means a busy public road. Merchandise is things that are meant for sale. And railroad crossing is an intersection where a railway line crosses a road or path. Now, Valli found the cow incident extremely humorous and laughed to the extent that brought tears to her eyes. Again, the conductor teased her by telling her that it wasn't enough for the day. It was enough for the day, and she should save some laughter for the next day. Somehow the cow went off the road on its own, and the bus stopped at a level crossing from where the train was visible as a tiny dot. As the train came nearer, it grew larger. The train passed with a huge roar, thus shaking its entire road and shaking the entire road. The bus started moving and reached a very narrow street. On taking a turn, it reached a wider road. There were big and brightly lit shops on the road that displayed merchandise on sale. Valli was attracted towards all the lights and decorations. She glanced at each and everything. Now let's continue reading further. Struck dumb with wonder, Valli gaped at everything. Then the bus stopped and everyone got off except Valli. Hey ladies, said the conductor, aren't you ready to get off? This is as far as your 30 paise takes you. No, Valli said. I am going back on the same bus. She took another 30 paise from her pocket and handed the coins to the conductor. Why? Is something the matter? No, nothing's the matter. I just felt like having a bus ride, that's all. Don't you want to have a look at the sights now that you're here all by myself? Oh, I'd be much too afraid. Greatly amused by the girl's way of speaking, the conductor said, "But you weren't afraid to come in the bus?" "Nothing's to be afraid of about that," she answered. "Well then, why not go to that stall over there and have something to drink? Nothing to be afraid of about that either." "Oh no, I couldn't do that." "Well then, let me bring you a cold drink." Okay, so let us continue with the explanation. The conductor informed her that it was the last stop, and then she took out another 30 paise from her pocket to buy a ticket back to the village. She said that she only intended to have a bus ride and she didn't want to go shopping or looking at the sights. And the conductor told her that if she was ready to come on this trip, then why not go and have a look? She said that she would be too afraid of that. So let's continue reading further, children. No, I don't have enough money. Just give me my ticket, that's all. It'll be my treat and not cost you anything. No, no, she said firmly. Please, no. The conductor shrugged and they waited until it was time for the bus to begin the return journey. Again, there weren't many passengers. So, over here, the conductor asked her if she wished to have a drink at the nearby stall or if he could bring her a drink if she was afraid to go out of the bus. But Valli told her she didn't have enough money. The conductor insisted on that being his treat. But Valli denied, and both of them waited for the new set of passengers to board the bus. This time, there were fewer passengers. Then, let us continue reading further. Won't your mother be looking for you? The conductor asked when he gave the girl her ticket. No, no one will be looking for me, she said. The bus started, and again there were the same wonderful sights. Valli wasn't bored in the slightest and greeted everything with the same excitement she'd felt the first time. But suddenly she saw a young cow lying dead by the roadside, just where it had been struck by some fast moving vehicle. Isn't that the same cow that ran in front of the bus on our trip to town? She asked the conductor. The conductor nodded, and she was overcome with sadness. What had been a lovable, beautiful creature just a little while ago had now suddenly lost its charm and its life and looked so horrible, so frightening as it lay there, legs spread-eagled, a fixed stare in its lifeless eyes, blood all over. So let's continue with the explanation. Then, concerned about Valli, the conductor asked her if her mother would be looking for her as she was all alone. Valli instantly replied by saying that no one was waiting on her. Then, the meaning of the word lifeless, spread-eagled means spread out. The return journey began, and Valli was just as excited as the first time. She kept looking at everything very enthusiastically, and when she suddenly noticed a cow lying dead by the roadside, it must have been hit by a fast-moving vehicle. Valli confirmed with the conductor that it was the same cow that they had seen earlier. Her mood experienced a shift towards sadness. She wondered how a lovable and playful creature instantly transformed into a horrible and lifeless one. So then, let's continue reading further. The bus moved on. The memory of the dead cow haunted her, dampening her enthusiasm. She no longer wanted to look out of the window. She sat thus, glued to her seat, until the bus reached her village at 3:40. She stood up and stretched herself, and then she turned to the conductor and said, "Well, sir, I hope to see you again." "Okay, madam," he answered her, smiling. "Whenever you feel like a bus ride, come and join us, and don't forget to bring your fare." She laughed and jumped down from the bus. Then away she went, running straight for home. Let's continue with the explanation. Haunted means returned repeatedly to her mind, and it was impossible for her to forget. So, the sight of this dead cow robbed Valli of her enthusiasm, and in this manner she stopped looking out of the window. She sat silently on her seat until she reached home at around 3:40. While alighting from the bus, she conveyed her intention of seeing the conductor again, and the conductor told her in a very sarcastic manner. He told her, "Don't forget your fare, child." She intended to travel. The next time she intended to travel, and so Valli went home. So let's continue reading further. When she entered her house, she found her mother awake and talking to one of Valli's aunts, the one from South Street. This aunt was a real chatterbox, never closing her mouth once she started talking. "And where have you been?" said her aunt when Valli came in. She spoke very casually, not expecting a reply. So Valli just smiled, and her mother and aunt went on with their conversation. "Yes, you're right," her mother said. "So many things in our midst and in the world outside. How can we possibly know about everything? And Even when we do know about something, we often can't understand it completely, can we? Oh, yes, breathed Valli. What? Asked her mother. What's that you say? Oh, I was just agreeing with what you said about these things happening without our knowledge. So let's continue with the explanation. Valli found her mother awake from her afternoon nap. When she returned home, her mother was talking to one of her aunts who lived in the South Street. The aunt spoke so much that Valli called her a real chatterbox. It was difficult to make her stop talking. She even asked Valli a question, and without giving her enough time to reply, she kept on talking. Valli took the benefit of the moment and avoided any conversation regarding where she had been. So then, while her mother and aunt were conversing, her mother was heard talking about the endless possibilities in the world one was unaware about. And even if one knew, it was another thing to understand it. Valli affirmed what her mother was saying, leaving both of them astonished. And then she justified her reaction by mentioning that she was agreeing to what her mother was saying. Then we'll continue, children, with the last few paragraphs. Just a chit of a girl she is, and yet look how she pokes her nose into our conversation, just as though she were a grown-up lady. Valli smiled to herself. She didn't want them to understand her smile, but then there wasn't much chance of that, was there? So her aunt referred to Valli as a nose-poking child who acted like a grown-up lady, but only Valli knew what she was referring to, because after all, no one knew about her bus journey. So now, children, let us continue. This is translated from the Tamil by K.S. Sundaram, and it is illustrated by R.K. Lakshman, a famous cartoonist. Now let us look at the question answers of this lesson. Now, thinking about the text. What was Valli's deepest desire? Then find the words and phrases in the story that tell you this. Just a minute, children. The words and phrases in the story that tell us this were: the most fascinating thing. The sight on the bus was a source of unending joy. A tiny wish crept into her head and grew there. She wanted to ride on that bus, even if just once. It was an overwhelming desire. Valli would stare wistfully at the people who got on or off the bus. Valli listened carefully. Now the second question. How did Valli plan her bus ride? What did she find out about the bus? And how did she save up that fare? Well, how did Valli plan her bus ride? Well, Valli began to listen to all the people, coming, going, getting off the bus, and she would listen to all their conversations about what all they said, that they had gone to the town, and then she asked careful questions, and she found that the town was 6 miles from her village and the fare was 30 paise, and the trip to town took 45 minutes one way. So she calculated that the bus took 45 minutes to reach the town. So she decided to take the 1 o'clock afternoon bus, as it would come back at 2:45, and that would be enough time for her mother would be having her afternoon nap. So she wouldn't have to ask any permission and no one would miss her. So she saved whatever stray coins came her way and resisted every temptation to buy peppermints, toys, balloons, and even other things. She saved totally 60 paise, and at the village fair she did not give in to her desire to ride the merry-go-round, even though she had the money. Thus, she saved enough money to ride on the bus from her house to the town and for the return journey. What kind of a person is Valli? To answer this, pick out the following sentences from the text and fill in the blanks. The words you fill in are the clues to your answer. So let us have a Look at this. The first one, stop the bus, and a tiny hand was raised commandingly. The second one, yes, I simply have to go to town, said Valli. The third one, there's nobody here who's a child, she said haughtily. Number 4, never mind, she said. I can get on by myself. You don't have to help me. Number 5, you needn't bother about me. I can take care of myself, Valli said, turning her face towards the window. Then she turned to the conductor and said, well, sir, I hope to see you again. Now, the next question. That is, why does the conductor refer to Valli as Madam? Well, Valli was only 8 years old when she went on that ride on the bus. She stopped the bus, she paid for a ticket, she refused to take the conductor's hand to get onto the bus, and she was acting like a mature lady even though she was just a child. So the conductor was a jolly sort of person, called her Madam. He even asked her permission to let the bus move forward. Now the next question is, find the lines in the text which tell you that Valli was enjoying her ride on the bus. Well, first of all, she was not able to look outside at the sights, and so she stood on the window. She stood on the seat, and then she saw that there were palm trees and grasslands and distant mountains, and there was a deep ditch and acres of green fields. Then, what does Valli mean when she says, I was just agreeing with what you said about the things happening without our knowledge? When Valli returned from the bus ride, her mother was awake and talking to one of her aunts. Then her mother was telling the aunts that there were so many things around them in the world, and how could they possibly know about everything? Also, even when they did not know about something, they couldn't understand it. She asked the aunt if she agreed. Valli agreed because she was thinking of the bus ride that she had enjoyed without the knowledge of her mother and aunt. She was also unable to understand what she had done and why she had done it. Now, children, I missed the 6th question. We'll go back to that. Why does Valli refuse to look out of the window on her way back? Well, Valli was enjoying her bus ride, but on the return journey, she happened to see the young cow lying dead by the roadside. It was the same cow that was running in front of the bus. That cow had been struck by some fast-moving vehicle, and now it lay lifeless. It looked so horrible and frightening, with its legs spread-eagled, a fixed stare in its lifeless eyes, and blood all over it. All the excitement that she had felt on a trip to town and so was over. She refused to look out of the window on the way back to the village as she was feeling very sad. The author describes the things that Valli sees from an 8-year-old's point of view. Can you find evidence from the text for this statement? Well, the author describes the things that Valli sees. Well, she looks at things and she looks at the scenery, she looks at all the green fields, she looks at the ditch, she looks at the cow, and she looks at but she is very fixed and firm in her decision that she does not want to get off the bus. And even when the conductor asks her, if he could get her a drink, or if she would like to get down and go and visit and look at the sights around, she says very firmly no, that she does not have sufficient money for all that. And even when he tries to give her a cold drink, she refuses to have it. She has it fixed firmly in her head that she needs to sit there and get back home before her mother can wake up. Then the speaking exercise you can skip, children. Then the writing exercise. Write a page about 3 paragraphs on one of the following topics. So now of these 3, you can decide to write on any one. Have you ever planned something entirely on your own without taking your grown ups into your confidence? And what was it? What did you plan and how did you do it? Did you carry it out very successfully or did they come to know about it? Then, the second one, have you made a journey that was unforgettable in some way? And what made it so unforgettable? What made it so memorable? The third one, are you concerned about traffic and road safety? What are your concerns? How would you make road travel safer and more enjoyable? So these are all the three topics are very good. If you can write even on all three. But if you can't, then you can make sure you write on at least one topic. So in the lesson, what we have done is related the story of Vali's bus ride. What you can do, this one you can leave, only make sure you write, do the writing exercise. So thank you children and have a nice day.